Welcome. Life's messy, funny, and full of stories worth telling. On Cat's Stories, we bring you a bunch of short ones every time, quick, relatable, and maybe just what you needed today. My name's Kathleen and let's jump in. And for our next post, am I the idiot H for despising my dad? I and Dad have always had a strained relationship. We are not close, but we tolerate each other. So the year of my exams he told me that I would pick any university that I want to study from. I was happy obviously, and I did do great and started applying for universities around the country. Backstory: I've never had an opportunity where I have to pick something on my own. My parents always choose for me and I go with it because anytime I try to oppose it's an argument. So when this opportunity came I was happy and wanted to go far and experience living alone without my parents. I haven't had that opportunity for over 7 years, so I wanted to find myself outside my parents. Back to the story. So I applied and got accepted at a university not really expensive and simple for thought it's well known. I told my dad, he was okay with it, but yesterday he came back from work. I told him about the news and he told me to apply to a nearby university 10 minutes walk. I told him no and he got angry and started saying that the uni I want to go to is expensive. It's not the uni he wants me to go to is on the top 3 universities in our country, so it's expensive. I tried everything but he still wants me to go that university. I feel betrayed and alone for him not to go anywhere. I don't have friends and always indoors. I just thought going to university would be a great opportunity to actually do something of my own and be proud of it. Am I the idiot H? And for our next post, am I the idiot for asking to work full-time while staying with my dad? So my partner 23M and I 20F have been together about 3 years and have a baby together. Well, being a young family in this economy is very hard, and eventually we decided we would both need to work to not live paycheck to paycheck. My partner and I both prioritized having a stay-at-home parent before this, but we simply can't afford it. Since I had been out of work for a year and the job market sucks, it took me about 2 months to finally get a job. My partner, as you can imagine, grew impatient during that time and it led to a lot of fighting. We started doing good financially, and since our lease was going to end we had decided to start applying for mortgage loans for a manufactured home. Monthly cost would be less than what we were paying, and my mom is a realtor so can help us free of charge. Well, it turns out you cannot use income if it is part-time unless you have worked there for more than 12 months. Luckily for me though, one of the part-time workers at my job quit and my boss offered me her shifts, putting me at full-time. This would allow us to have a better debt-to-income ratio and getting a home so much easier. And oh yeah, I forgot to mention that we are staying with family, my dad in the meantime, which is great because I love my dad, but a little harder commute-wise because it's far from our jobs and other family who also help watch the baby when I work. I feel like we should just go for it, even just temporarily while we are applying for homes, because everything just seemed to work out. We have free grandparent childcare, who is stoked to see baby more, are able to save so much more money, better chances on buying a home, and a chance to build our life together. My partner shut me down hard though because he thinks it would be too hard on our relationship. He told me that if I wanted to work full-time I should have thought of that before having our son, because it was agreed I would be the primary stay-at-home parent, which is insane to me because he would often tell me how lucky I was and how he wished that could be him. I just think that working extra hard for a few months to have a better life is worth it. So am I the idiot for wanting to work full-time? And for our next post, am I the idiot for telling my friend off for making insensitive jokes and statements? My friend 16F and I 15M have been friends since we were 2. We've lived next to each other all our lives and I love her like a sister. Just recently, she met my cousin 17M, who struggles with autism and cerebral palsy throughout his entire body. It hasn't been a big deal to our family with my cousin's disorders, but sometimes when you get used to something you forget how it may seem to others. I introduced my cousin and my friend on my birthday last week, and I could instantly tell something was wrong. My friend, usually lively and kind, kept making faces at my cousin and rolling her eyes. During dinner was the worst bit. My cousin can't feed himself, so I was helping him. I didn't mind, I was used to it. My friend speaks up while I helping him drink. I bet your cousin gives the best head with all that drool in his mouth. The entire table thought it was funny, but I didn't, and I know my cousin didn't either. I talked to her about it today, and she kept saying it was fine. She wouldn't have said it if it weren't for the fact she thought it was true. Am I the idiot? And for our next post, am I the idiot for setting limits to do some of the housework chores when I have just been diagnosed with cancer? I'm a 41-year-old female married to a 48-year-old male. We have been married for almost 13 years and have 3 kids. We have settled into typical gender roles like I cook, clean, grocery shop weekly, and take care of the kids like taking them to all of their appointments and picking them up from school if they are sick. He does the outside stuff, trash, landscaping, and shoveling, for example. Over time, though, he is doing less of the outside stuff, and I find myself taking over those roles, taking out recyclables or bringing in the bins, or he has outsourced them landscaper, so he no longer does these chores while I still do all of my wifely duties. He gets the kids ready in the morning and sends them to school on the bus and goes downstairs to work from home. When I come home from my full-time job, the house is a disaster and I have to clean the house all while I get the kids off the bus. This has been the normal routine for the past year. I also have a part-time job on the weekends as well, 5 hours each day, and have held the job for 25 years. It's great for extra money and afford us a down payment for our house and several trips to Disney. He hates it because he has to watch the kids by himself. I was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer in early January, so I realized that I need to slow down and can't do everything that I have been doing, and he needs to step up. When I tell him this, he says he does not feel this way and he is doing plenty. I know right now I am able to do things, but I will be starting chemotherapy soon, end of February, beginning of March, and I am not sure how I will feel. I am going to take time out from both jobs because of this. My husband is under the assumption that I will be sick for a few days where he is to do everything, but I will be able to continue doing my routine once I am feeling better. I have already told him don't expect it and I will do what I can, but he is not convinced. I am willing to continue to do some of the chores, but not everything that I have been doing. Am I the idiot for expecting my husband to pick up the slack while I am going through cancer? And for our next post, am I the idiot for not inviting my friend into the group project even after all the help he has given me? My first ever Reddit post, plus I am from Denmark, so spelling and grammar won't be tip-top. I am 23. This needs a bit of backstory. So close to 6 months ago, I not only moved out, but I moved 5 hours away from where my family lives. I did this because I had gotten a spot at a university that I really wanted to go to. In Denmark, universities are basically only in the biggest cities, and I grew up in a very small one, so I always knew this step in my life would come one day. Moving to a new city where I knew no one, plus living on my own for the first time, was a lot to take in. I had to learn a lot in a very short time, and still to this day I am far from having it all figured out. Since I knew no one when I came to city, I of course was ready to be open and try to get some new friends and I quickly got a lot of new friends. Since the drinking culture in Denmark is insane, a lot of the first month is basically just you drinking with your new classmates for a month straight. This is fun, but it ruins any kind of budget you have set out for yourself. My wallet really felt that. One of the guys I started to be good friends with is 2 or 3 years older than me, and he has his shit together financially, which I don't because I don't have a job in this town yet. He basically started paying things here and there for me when we was out, drinks and stuff, sometimes giving me insane amounts of alcohol without me spending a penny. I felt what I was doing is wrong, and I said that to him in sober state. But he said he really did not mind and just wanted us all to have a good time. He did also give alcohol to other people, but he was really there for me a lot. Skip forward a bit. At the university we go to, every project and assignment is in groups. 1 semester the groups were random. Now 2 semester we can choose our own groups. Me and 3 of my other new friends have made an agreements that we would be in a group this time. But the friend I have connected a lot with and have been a big reason for me having so much fun when I first moved here is not in the group. The reason for this is because we have heard from the people he was in a group with in the 1 semester that he really lazy and just does get things done. Plus we really wanted to only be 4 people in the group, since we have learned that 5 is too many. He talks well with everyone in the group on a level outside of school, so when he heard we all group up without him, I could sense that hurt him. I can't help but feel like the because he has been a big part of my first couple of months here being so good, but to be honest I just do not want him the group. So yeah, am I the idiot? And for our next post, am I the idiot for asking my mother to only comment on my hair if she wants to compliment it? I 28F had stopped getting my hair cut professionally a few years back and just let it grow. Late last year, I very spontaneously decided to cut them myself into something similar to a side cut. This was a really big step for me, since big decisions like that scare me and I wasn't sure if it would look boyish. For context, I'm trans and growing my hair out was a big part of finding myself. I was incredibly happy with the result. I have never felt so attractive and comfortable in my looks. A little while after, I was visiting my mom. She is a person who is very open about her opinions. For example, she was very open about her dislike of me getting tattoos, but has also complimented those she did like afterwards. I think this is a generally good quality. The problem is that I tend to hold on to negative things people say and internalize them, whether I want to or not. This has made me dislike things that I actually liked before. So before I got to her place, I called her to ask that she would only make comments about my hair if it was positive and to keep negative things to herself. I don't usually do this, but here I knew what kind of comments could come and that they could make me dislike my new haircut. I did very much not want that, seeing as how happy it made me. When I asked this, she got audibly upset and said that she does not like when people try to control her words or dictate what she is allowed to think. I said that it was just my wish for her to not say negative things about it and that I wanted her to do me that favor. She stopped to her points and said that she just thinks what she thinks. When I got to her place after we hung up, she didn't say anything negative, so the situation ended well. Still, I feel like it was not a huge thing to ask someone to just be nice. I feel like I have set a boundary on what I want to be said to me and her reaction was not proportionate for that request. Now I don't know if this was reasonable for me to ask her to restrict herself by not express her dislike. So am I the idiot. And that's a wrap for today's stories. If you had a favorite or something similar happened to you, drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. See you soon. Kat signing off.